All right, it is Thursday, January 4th, and I had a interesting day. Now, I can't remember the last time I've taken 8 trades in a single day. I might never have taken 8 trades in a single day in my entire trading career on any sort of live accounts. But today I did, and it's interesting because I came in with a mindset today that I wanted to be aggressive. I wanted to take the trades when I see them, and but I wanted to play the Apex game smart. And so, I think I did that to a degree, and then I sort of got carried away to a degree. So we're going to get into that. I think this will be a longer video because I do want to try to show the live recording of some of the trades. I don't know if I'll show all of them because it'll make it really a long video, but I do want to show some of them. So for anyone watching for the first time, this is where I'm just simply documenting my trading journey on Apex Trader Funding. They are currently running an 80% discount code if anyone is interested in either starting or continuing their Apex journey and they need some new evaluation accounts. You can use this code over here. And that one or any other will get you 80% off. That code ends at midnight tonight, East Coast time. So there's a few hours left to pick some of those up. And this discount code came into play today for why I had a 3-loss day in some or large part, and why I blew up 5 evaluations today. So I'm going to get into talking about that. It's interesting because when you get into trading prop firms, there's the actual trading and what trades you take and whether you win or lose and you're red or green. And then there's the Apex game, which is that you want to get PAs, you want to get funded, and then you want to get those PAs to qualify for payouts, and then you want to get real money paid back to you. So to a certain degree, all the numbers you see here, all these red numbers, added up. I lost $9,513 today between all the evaluations, and that includes the $485 that I won on 2 evaluations. So if you imagine I was trading a live account, I lost a lot of money today. Now it's a little bit, you can't really say that because if I was trading a live account, well, I wouldn't be trading, what I got, nine accounts, right? I'd just be trading one. Or if there's a way, maybe there's an IRA and a regular account that I could trade both. Maybe I don't know if you can trade IRAs with futures, but kind of that idea. Or maybe if you set up multiple brokerage firms that you trade, but I'm not sure you can link those together. So anyway, that's getting into a gray area and besides the point. But it looks like I lost a lot of money today, $9,513. But I actually don't feel bad today. I actually feel kind of good, and that's strange because when I'm really thinking about it, the only account that really right now matters to me at all is my PA account. So this account, that one I just lit up right there, this is the only account I actually really care about. And I was up $194 on it. I had a 2-0 day, and I'm on my way to where I want to be. Still got a long way to go, but I'm just chipping away and I'm working towards my goal of qualifying for a payout. And if I can qualify for a payout on this account, I'm going to go for taking out a max $2,000, and that will cover all of my current expenses for Apex, all the fees I've paid, all the evaluations I bought, all the PA fees, everything, all the renewals, everything I've done to date. If I get a $2,000 payout, and let's just say I can do it, let's say in February, I am currently only into Apex for about $1,400, maybe almost $1,500 right now. And I'm going to buy 2 more evaluations today. I'm going to say that right now. So even though I've blown up 5 evaluations, I'm just going to switch them out with 2 new ones for the 80% off that I'll start trading with tomorrow. And so I will have 5 accounts to trade with. And really, so that's my whole goal, is to get a payout. I haven't gotten a payout yet. I started this journey on Apex. Call it April. It was the very, very end of March, April of 2023. And I haven't gotten a payout yet. I'm into Apex easily for, we'll call it $1,500 after I buy these next 2 accounts. And so I need 1 payout, and that will wipe away everything I've lost so far. And when I say lost, it's really just my business expense of buying accounts and paying for the fees, like I said. And then I will actually be net positive if I don't buy any more evaluations at that point, or if I don't do any more PA fees. And even if, let's say, these 2 accounts do pass and I have to pay for 2 more PA fees, I would still be net positive with a $2,000 payout, which is the max payout I can get on the 50K account. So going back to what I was saying, even though this looks terrible, 5 and 3 day, it doesn't feel great. I don't like blowing up the accounts, but I'll get into why and how that happened. This didn't really affect me. It was kind of like a sweet but bitter day, because what I cared about was up here. I was 2-0 on my PA account, and I was 2-0 on 2 accounts, evaluations that are in good standing. And I was at $485. And as you can see here, at 25,425. So I need, approximately another $1,000, a little more than $1,000 on that account. And on this account, where are we? On this account here, not that account. On this account here, we're at 50,568. So I need another $2,500, a little bit less. But these are on the path. So I got to make sure that I trade these in a smart way, and the way I've been meaning to trade, and not like how I was trading these other accounts. Because I got into a little bit of a gambling mentality. And really what happened was, when I go through the day, you'll see my trade 1, which is actually on this chart here. Let's take this off. So as you can see here on my chart 1, my first trade was a win. And on that trade, I traded, I believe it was 4 accounts. I traded the PA, account number 30, account number 22, and 23. I was 1-0. And then it's not on this chart. I'll have to switch charts, but my second trade was a loser. And luckily though, the second trade, I switched off my PA account. I switched off account 22 and 23, and I switched to 26, 27, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. And I didn't trade 2, I didn't trade 22, and I didn't trade 23, and I got my first loss. And so these accounts started off red, the ones that I ended up blowing out. And so then after the loss, I switched back and just turned on, I believe on my third trade, I had all the accounts on, and I got a win. And so at that point, I had 2 wins on the top 2 accounts that are still in good standing, as well as my PA. And I decided that was going to be good for the day. With those accounts, I felt like I was doing what I set out to do with those accounts. And so I wanted to protect my profit and just focus on these red accounts. And so then I moved forward and continued to trade, and we'll get into that right now and talk about how that happened. All right, so trade 1, I started today at about 645, 650 was when I began, and we had a big, strong move down, and then to me, we had what looked like 2 legs to try to retest the low of the move down, and essentially, I'm just taking second entries. I'm not trading the way Mac teaches to trade second entries at this point, so. But this first trade was a second entry. It was a first entry, second entry long here, and it was off the EMA. And I just, the way I looked at it was there was some resistance across here, but to get 11 ticks, as you can see here, so I didn't make this bigger. To get 11 ticks, I'm nowhere near the top of these candles to get the 11 ticks. So I felt very comfortable taking that trade. And as I said, I took it on PA2, about 22 and 23 and 30. And so things were looking great for me. So let me go ahead and show that trade recorded live. All right, so here's the trade recorded live. At this point, it was looking like it was going to be a bullish bar, so I dropped my stop market order in, and then it moves down one tick above the signal bar, and you can see how fast this one worked right away. And so right away, all my accounts were in good standing there. And account number 30 is the one that was going to be expiring or renewing soon, next week. So I was really planning on aggressively trading that account for sure. And because that was going to be a renewal for 50% cost, which is like $75 or something. And I decided I wasn't going to buy, I wasn't going to pay for that. It's either going to pass or fail it. And I knew I'd likely get one or two more accounts today for 80%. I have all the other accounts I already have. So if anything happens with those automatically renew for 80% when there's those renewal dates come up. And I knew I was going to stagger accounts. So that was trade one. And now let's get into trade two. All right, so here we are looking at trade two. And here you can see I traded 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. I turned off the PA and I turned off the top two accounts. And for me, this one, it was interesting. I had made up in my mind that we were going to close the gap of the previous day close. Now, what I kind of lost track sight of on this one, I think, is that we did close the gap of yesterday's low already. So in essence, one gap was already filled, but I was really concentrating on closing the gap of the previous day close. Typically, I give a lot of importance to a previous day low or high. It can act as resistance or support. And but in my line of thinking, I just needed 11 ticks, which I would have had it easily to this resistance here. And it was before the resistance of the previous day's low. And I had in mind to close the gap of the previous day close, which you see it ultimately ended up doing that before it hit resistance there and went much further to retest the highs of the day. So I feel like, I kind of have mixed feelings about this a little bit because I could see reasons to not take it. But the other thing is, according to the BS system that I'm now trading, I refer to the BS system because that's the system my brother shared with me, and I'm kind of sometimes doing it a little bit my own way, but it's all based on what he's doing. And so there's a way where we can see if the chart is working well for 11 ticks or not. And we don't have to go through every setup. There's a way that we can just see it automatically, and it's pretty great. So this chart hadn't lost all day. Let me see if I do a double look here. When I took this trade, yeah, there had not been a single loss in the entire session on this chart, going all the way back to when it opened, yesterday, in the overnight and the morning before the market opened today. So because of being able to see that the chart is so consistent for 11 ticks on every setup, I felt confident to take it regardless of some of those things that I was thinking. And, it just reversed right away and gave me a loss. So let me pause here and let me get up the recording of that. All right, so as you can see here, I liked this bullish bar. It was coming off the EMA. As I just explained, I was feeling good about the chart. It was consistently working for 11 ticks all day. I erased the order, and then I brought it back. I was thinking about switching to a different chart, which I'm glad I saw that because that reminds me to talk about something. So as you can see, I entered the trade, it immediately started to reverse, which I didn't like, but when it made this little push, I thought, oh, okay, maybe we'll get it. It made a solid attempt there to get the 11, which, like I said, had been working very well on this chart. And then it reversed and just went straight to my stop, essentially. I'll let it play out, knowing that this video is going to be a little long. So at this point, I was pretty confident that I was going to lose. The frustrating thing I'll say about this one is the reason why I canceled an order, and then you saw in this video, and then I reapplied the order, is because I actually saw on a different chart a very similar setup, and it was going to trigger earlier. And so I was thinking about taking that earlier. Now here, you can also see that my evaluation 30 account didn't close when all the other accounts closed. So something with the copier didn't work, and so I ended up taking a bigger loss because I manually closed it because I didn't want to risk this going further out of my direction. And so I took like $100 bigger loss on that trade on the evaluation 30 than I did the others. So at that point, I'm already thinking, okay, you know, I'm not going to be, I didn't have a lot of room to the trailing necessarily, and I had limited days in front of me to trade that account. And so I decided I would size up on my next trades. So on that one, on evaluation 30. But the other thing I wanted to mention was on a different chart, this trade actually worked on a different chart. So if I can bring that up real quick. All right, so we're talking about this loss right here. Now, the high was 1350. So I entered at 1375. And the high on this one was 1525. So it was good for, what, 1.5 points, but not the 11 ticks that I go for. Now, to me, this looked solid. It was on a chart that had no losses for the entire session. And so it looked pretty good to me. But if I go to this chart, this is it right here. If I go back, so you see this is about 724 or something. And here, about 724. This candle, if I had entered one tick above this bar right here, it's hard to tell, but the high here, so 12.25 is what I'd be in for. The high was 12, and the high here was 1525. So it would have worked perfectly, I believe, for 11 ticks. Now, I'm thinking about it. It's possible that it got to the 11th tick, but it didn't get to the 12th. So I got to think about that, because maybe it wouldn't have closed even still. But it's interesting that on different charts, it may have worked. I gotta kind of account for that. If it doesn't tick through to the 12th tick, it's probably still a loser. So I'm gonna have to circle back and think about that, because when I saw this, I thought it actually did work. But according to this, I'm gonna be in for 12.25, 15.25 is 3 points. Oh no, it worked. It worked. It went to 12th tick. So yeah, so it would have worked on this chart. The reason why in the video that you saw, I turned off the order and then I turned it back on is because I was thinking about taking it on this one. And I said, no, I'll wait for the next one because, well, I don't really know why. I think it's just because I was already set up for it. And so I just decided to stick with it. But if I'd made the switch, it looks like I probably would have won. So that's trade number 2. And then let's go to trade number 3. All right, and I hope this doesn't get too long, but I want to record this for my own benefit, if not for anyone else's, because I do look back at these videos and I want to learn from a day like today and what's working and what's not working. Since this system is still very new to me, you know, you can look at these charts and you can see, oh, it's working for 11, it's working for 11, it's working for 11. And so you almost feel like, oh, well, I should be taking any trade because they're all working. And, but there's going to be losers sometimes, right? Like nothing's typically going to just only win. So, and it's really just kind of a theory, like, oh, if 11 ticks is working consistently on a chart, then let's just stick with that chart and keep trading it and you know, try to, really get the most out of it. But I'm still trying to apply certain price action rules. So if it's in, you know, if it's consolidating, if it's in a tight range, overlapping bars, if it's just shot through the EMA in a direction one way or the other, there's kind of basic price action rules I'm trying to apply, not necessarily max price action rules, but basic things that I can apply to this without drawing the channels and whatnot. That typically can help keep me out of the losers, but hopefully get me into winners. Now, the problem is that you see these charts where it's like, oh, it's just working and working and working. And you kind of want to throw that all out the door and just say, oh, well, I'm just going to go with the chart because it's working. But eventually you'll probably end up with a loss if you just keep taking every single one you see. So you do have to apply some kind of, logic or analysis to it to decide, okay, I'll take this one, but not this one. And so this next trade, we had a nice push up through the EMA after, you know, retesting what I considered to be a double retest of the low, so a double bottom, really a triple bottom. And so I felt like, okay, now is going to be the time where, you know, the timing of my last loss was, I just got in a little too early, but now this should work and we'll go to fill the gap of the previous day close, if not retest the highs of the day, which did happen. And this is the trade that I took, and you can see I easily got 3 ticks. Let me bring up that trade real quick. Oh, I thought I paused. So as you can see here, here's my trade number 4. Now you can see I'm bouncing back between different charts, right? And so that's part of the difficulty, especially in doing the YouTube and recording for YouTube, and just recording one chart in one spot. I'm having to use my charts on the side, that I'm following all the different charts. And then when I like one, I have to load it into this chart to record it onto YouTube. So there was actually an instance or two where I just completely wasn't able to move fast enough and missed a couple good trades. But in any case, here we had closed the gap already of the previous day close, like to the tick. But again, this was on a chart that was very consistent and working very well. And so I felt very confident to take it. The other reason why I felt confident to take it, actually, I should talk about it, and maybe I'll talk about it in the video further, but it was right off of the previous day close. So what was acting as resistance, I considered now acting as support right off the EMA. And I thought, well, this looks very much like it could turn into a range day, and therefore we would retest the highs. Too bad not playing a runner, because as you see, could have made a killing if I had a runner, and I would like to employ that at some point. And I might even try to do that at some point sooner than later. But I really want to just be conservative and try to get this PA to a payout. And I think adding the extra risk for a runner with the drawdown is not necessarily the best idea probably. Let me pause here and load this trade. All right, so here we go. So this is a trade we were just looking at. So again, my analysis is we have one big leg up. We could probably expect another really big leg up for a measured move. The resistance now became support on the previous day close, which is that red line. And you know, I was considering whether we had room to the previous day close, and we did. So I entered, you know, I dropped the order before it triggered, and just have it waiting one tick above this bar, and you'll see that this one works really fast as well, I believe. Not as fast as that other one. And you'll see all the accounts, all the evaluations are being traded except for the 2 green at the top and the PA. So you'll see, I could have had another win on the PA right here, but just playing it safe with that. And as you can see, you know, my accounts are not too bad off at this point. But I really just had the mentality of, okay, these charts are working. I'm going to stick with them, keep trading them, and you know, try to do this thing. So pause here and we'll move to the next. All right, I just realized I'm going to be running out of time here. I got to wrap this up. So trade 5, again, I traded on all of the evaluations that were red for the day. And this one was a little bit questionable as far as the signal bar is not good. But my theory was that, again, we're retesting the previous day's low, which acted as support over here. It had been resistance here. And my theory was, okay, we're at that same level. And if it triggers, it should be good for 11 ticks because this chart is working. And as you can see, it worked as well there. So after this trade, my accounts were not too bad. They were like a few $100s in the red. I could have stopped there. I said, no, I want to get it to break even or slightly green, and keep seeing what I can do with the system. So let's take a look at the next one. I'm not going to show the live on that one just because I'm running out of time. All right. So then I took this trade right here, and to me, now we had broken through it, and to me it was like, okay, well, I think we've got a range situation going on here. We've already tested the highs, and now we're going to work our way back down to the lows. So this is just, you know, second entry short, good signal bar right off of what had been resistance and support. Now what was support now turned back into resistance under the EMA, triggered on a chart that was consistently working, and I easily got the 11 ticks. But the thing that happened on this one was that only my leader account and 2 accounts closed when it hit my profit target, and then there are 3 accounts that were left open. So because of that, I didn't want to risk that this just only gets the 11 ticks and then turns around for some reason. So I entered manually and took much less profit on 3 of the accounts, one of them being the account 30. And that was unfortunate because that actually messed with my psychology at this point. And because that happened, and because it was really 30, the one that I wanted to press the hardest with, but I wanted to get them all back to green or basically break even. I was still, you know, essentially the same amount away I was before this trade on most of the accounts, on 3 of the accounts, and then the other 2 were in a little bit better shape, but they're still a couple $100 away from being break even. So I decided to take another trade. which was on the same chart. And honestly, this gets into the whole Apex game. I knew better than to take this trade, but I took it because the chart hadn't been losing. At this point, let me double check. Let's see. Yeah, at this point, there hadn't been any losses on this chart going for 11 ticks. And I'm able to see that really quickly. So, and I already knew it because I was already trading it from this trade. So because of that, I knew it didn't look right. I knew we had already gotten a new low, and I knew that we were far from the EMA. It really just looked like one leg up. And a lot of times I'm looking for two legs down, you know, so there were a lot of reasons to not take it, but because of that thing I said, where it just, you see the charts working consistently for 11 ticks, and you go, okay, I'm gonna enter this trade because I just want, you know, I need one more trade, especially because it didn't fill my total profit on 3 of these accounts. I was like, okay, I really want to get one more. It was almost 10 o'clock, and I was just like, let's get one more in. That'll get me down to break even right at the time I really want to stop trading for the day. And what do you know? I picked up a loss here. So on this account, not only did I pick up a loss, but again, I had trade copier issues where 3 of my accounts didn't close the trade when it hit the stop loss, when it went above this here. So 3 accounts got left open. And so at this point, it was including account 30. I said, okay, well, either I'm going to get lucky and it reverses and I can get like a windfall and maybe pass and get lucky when I close it manually, or it's going to get blown. And account 30, I didn't care if it blew anyway, because, you know, I was planning to win or blow it anyway, because I don't want to pay the 50% renewal fee. And then unfortunately, 2 other accounts got taken with that, because that's the game I was playing for 30, and those were left in as well. So actually, yeah. So that's how that happened. Or actually, I take it back. 30 blue with the stop loss, I believe, and then 26 and 28 blue because the stop didn't get filled. Okay, so that's that. I'm not going to show it. And that leads me to the end of the day. So that last trade was around 10 o'clock, and I didn't take another trade, but I was sitting at the charts for most of that time, and just didn't see anything that I really liked, even though there were some opportunities. This chart, I hadn't traded it all day, but I had never seen it take a loss when there was a setup going for 11 ticks. So what I've never done before is I've really never traded this late in the day. I typically never trade past 12:30 West Coast. And so, but because I had already blown 3 accounts, and in my mind, this seemed like a good trade. I just happened to be here. I was getting ready to record this video to do my review of the day, and getting everything in place to do that. I saw this potentially setting up, and you know, this was something, it was the low of the day. We had retested the low and gotten a new low, and I just figured if this shoots back up and engulfs this bar, and this was the open of the day, I felt pretty secure that this was going to be good and go for 11 ticks. Now, I had my order ready, and I'll show this trade. I had my order ready. It was 1 tick above this bar when it triggered, and it was really weird. It shot through it, but it didn't fill my buy order until the next bar after this closed. It filled, and then it closed my leader account, which is a sim account. It closed it, but left my other 2 accounts open. So again, a trade copier issue plus a volatility issue. I think it's just not safe to trade it. If this situation happens where it doesn't then continue to push, you can end up taking a loss. And so that's what ended up happening here was it backed up, it filled my my buy order, and then it didn't go back up again to fill my profit target for me to be able to exit manually. And then it went too far somewhere around here, and yeah, sorry, I just got this error. So let me pause here. Anyway, so when it went down here, it auto stopped. You know, I hit my threshold and the other two accounts closed. Let me pause here. All right, so this is going to be the live recording of this last trade that I was just talking about. As you can see here, it was at the lows. It made a new low, and I figured if it engulfs and we're at the opening price, I figured it would be good for 11 ticks. So I put my order in. I decided if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You know, I had already blown 3 accounts. The 80% is still going on, so I could buy 2 more accounts today before that ends. And so I decided, okay, if I blow these 2 accounts, I'm going to buy 2 more anyway. And here, so you see it's gone already past my order. It's interesting. It like filled on, what happened actually, now I'm looking at it, is it filled on my sim account leader. You can see there. It filled on my sim account leader, but it didn't fill, you know, it didn't fill on my copy accounts. So, you know, you can see there, it shot through the order. It didn't fill it. Then it ultimately filled my sim order account. So I don't know. I like trading with the sim because then I can easily organize what accounts are being traded and what accounts aren't. But maybe there's an issue with having the sim as a leader account. I have to think about that. Anyway, I'm running out of time. I gotta go pick up my daughter from school. At the end of the day, I just want to re-mention here, you know, this is the tricky thing with Apex. You get caught up in oh, there's 80%. If I lose the accounts, I can be a little bit more aggressive today and do these sorts of things and go for it because I'm going to have 2 new accounts anyway. And so there's no real reason to really worry about it too much. But at the same time, you know, these accounts at 80% are $30 each. So that's $60 that I just paid for on some of these accounts that I've been trading just a couple of days, and now they're blown already. And now I'm going to spend another $60. But on the good side of things, my PA and 2 evaluations are still really in good standing, and they're headed in the right direction. And so I just got to kind of tweak what I'm doing. I think what I'm going to do is kind of like I did today. If I get a win on a batch of accounts, I switch to a batch that I'm not trading yet. Then if I get another win, I'll switch to another batch. And then if I win again, I'll go back to the original batch. And I think I'll just keep rotating. And then hopefully, because that loss will, you know, I'll never get 2 losses on the same account. If I get 2 losses in a day, I'll stop trading for the day, even if they're not on the same accounts. And that will hopefully alleviate the risk of getting 2 losses on the same accounts. And it'll alleviate the risk of even getting a loss on any of the accounts. And then if I get a loss, you know, I'm willing to trade again to try to get that back. But you know, don't go crazy, essentially. So don't overdo it. I think I overdid it today. And I think that's where I'm coming out at the end. So anyway, this video has been the longest one of 2024, longest one I've done in a while. And, you know, it's amazing. I technically lost $9,513 if these were all live accounts added up together, but I don't even care about that so much. I feel good about what I did. My strategy, traded a batch, switched counts. I took a loss. I came back. I included the original counts and the counts that lost, took a win, said, you know what, I'm happy with this win for these accounts, headed in the right direction towards my goal. Don't put those at jeopardy anymore today. And I think that was the right thing to do. And for me, that's the right way to treat the most important accounts, which are the PA accounts. So I got one of those left, and I don't want to be frivolous with it. And that's where I'm at. So we'll see how this continues. Overall, I'm 7-3 on YouTube for 2024. It was interesting. I forgot to update it yesterday. So it said 1-0 yesterday. It was really 2-0. My first trade, I was 3-0. Then I was 3-1. Then I think I got 3 trades in a row, 3 or 4. So things were looking good. And then I got the 2 losses in a row at the end, more because of the Apex psychology than anything, more than the system itself. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Like or subscribe if you're liking what I'm doing here. Pick up some 80% discounts if you haven't already. Only good for a few more hours, midnight tonight. And let's do it again tomorrow. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for watching.